Well, I got the bulbs in the other day, and I wasn't going to do anything on this until I got those in, so I tried them in the radio just the way it is right now, and you know, without putting the filament transformer in, and they are a lot brighter. But we're going to do the filament transformer mod anyways, because we need to get that pilot string, the pilot lights, off the ballast. This transformer, this is the transformer here that I ordered off of eBay, and the last time it was off camera and you couldn't really see it too good. And it's quite small. As a matter of fact, this is the audio output transformer here, so it really isn't, other than being a little taller and a little thicker, about the same size. And I could probably mount that right up into here. I moved my capacitor over instead of sticking out this way. I moved it like this. So what I got to do, and of course it's raining, and, you know, we just don't have good weather here. And this has been a terrible, terrible, terrible March. Real bad. We haven't had good weather at all this month. And although it's mild and it's raining, at least it ain't snowing, but nevertheless, I can't do any drilling and everything outside. I have to do it on the bench here, and I don't like metal pilings on the bench. I can't work on my work table out there, and it's raining this evening. So what I'm planning on doing is probably to get this up into here, like, probably could mount it on an angle like that. It would be easier to mount, similar to the way the audio output transformer is mounted. Not a problem, but you can see plenty of room here. There's a good 3/4 of an inch from the top of this transformer to the metal flange here of the chassis. So there shouldn't be any problem with that at all. All I got to do is mark that out and drill and put a couple nuts and bolts in there and mount it. This is a SL22. It's 120 ohms cold, 1.9 amps continuous. It's similar to a CL90. This is the one I got off of eBay. But after I ordered that, I found an CL90 in my toolbox that I brought over from the old workshop. And this is 120 ohms cold and 2 amps. But you know, I measured this on the ohm meter. This is 208 ohms cold. And this one is 229 ohms cold. The specs call for this one to be 120 ohms cold. I'll show you on the amp meter, on the ohm meter here. Okay, let's make sure this Kodak is recording here. All right, here is the CL90. Watch the ohm meter. It's supposed to be 120 ohms cold. Well, this time it's 147 ohms cold. I just measured this the other day, so it changes, and I use the same meter. So here is this CL22 that I got off of eBay, which is also 120 ohms cold, or supposed to be. This is 195 ohms cold. So it don't really matter, because when they warm up, they go down to almost zero, or a few ohms. So my intention is to use those, or one of these, in series with the ballast, maybe for now, because I'm going to jump out the two 17 ohm taps after I take the pilot lights off the ballast. And Brendan, John's mentor, emailed me a couple of times and said it was a very good idea to use the filament transformer. And he also suggested, other people have too, to use a capacitor. He did the formula for me. It's 10 microfarads, and you can use a fan capacitor. And he gave me a link to where I can get a fan capacitor on eBay and also at Amazon. So I do not have a 10 microfarad ceiling fan capacitor and have to order one. So for now I could put one of these in, but regardless, when I do get the capacitor, I'll still leave this in series with it, and then I can remove the ballast totally. Of course, before I do any of that, as far as wiring it in, I'm going to run a voltage check and see what the filament string is getting for voltages after I jump out the 17 ohm taps. Like I say, I want to eliminate the ballast only because it's non-protective, and somebody had said put cardboard over it. That's a fire hazard. You just don't do that. But it's not a big deal. I won't get rid of the ballast. I'll put it in a little tube box or something, and one of those little cardboard boxes with vacuum tubes go in. I'd have to get some, of course. I don't have any extras. And mark on it ballast for Hallicrafter S86. So it can always be used for that. But anyways, that's the story. Another thing I was thinking of doing, it didn't originally come with a fuse, but I was thinking of maybe mounting a fuse in here. But I think what I would like to do is to put one on the rear of the chassis. Rather than under the chassis, because you'd have to pull the whole radio out. And there's plenty of room here for me to put in a fuse holder similar to the type I've got on my Variac panel here. If you look here, see there's a knot of red and black wires here. There are 4 wires, 2 for each lamp, 1 black, 1 red for each lamp. So that's why I'm running these pilot lights with 2 separate wires. In other words, the filament transformer, one end will not be grounded. They'll be strictly on that. Now, on this pilot light, on this transformer here, I'm getting 7.8 volts unloaded off the 6.3 volt tap. The number 47 bulbs can take 6.9 as a maximum. A number 44 bulb, which I found in there also, can take 6.8. But these are designed for pinball machines to replace the number 47s and the 44 bulbs that they use in pinball machines, made to run on 6.3 volt AC. The question is, will these handle the higher voltage that this is putting out? Unloaded, this puts out almost 8 volts. Almost 8 volts out of the, and you know, it's no shorts or anything. I checked it. What I might do is I got this chart here that I got off the internet. One of the fellows on the Antique Radio Forum told me where I could get this, because I can never find anything on the internet. I'm not good at that. I'd rather go to a paper book or something like that. But I downloaded this chart that told me what current these bulbs develop, because I used to have a Sylvania bulb catalog in my old shop. I no longer have it, of course, so I needed something to refer to. Number 44 bulb is 6 to 8 volts, 250 mils. a number 47 bulb, 6 to 9 volts, 150 milliamperes, and a number 57 bulb takes 14 volts because it's a 12 volt bulb for auto. It takes 240 mils. Not only have I got the 47s, which I got from Sal's, but I've got number 57s, which are 12 volt bulb for 240 mils. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and put one of these 57s in here, in this pilot light that was added and nothing was connected to. Now you're asking me, why would I want to do that? Well, first of all, I don't need this pilot light being really bright. I do need to see it, but it don't need to be eye glaring. So running a number 57 at half its voltage, it's drawing 240 mils. It'll be loading this transformer down a little bit, not much, so that these LEDs here, that I've got one in here and I've got one in here already, will not be getting too much voltage. How much it'll load it down, I don't know. I do know that an unloaded filament transformer will put out more than 6.3 volts. They're over 7. As I recall, and I'm going by memory, and memory's very bad these days, it's almost 8 volts unloaded. These LEDs, which I've got in here, they're white. These are the same things that I got right here. I got one here, and I got one here. And I tried it just the way it is now, and it gives me a circle about that big, about the size of a $50 right here. This one, the size of a nickel, a little less, because I got it closer. I had moved it when I had the 47 in there. So it's got to come back more. When I get these running on the 6 or 7 volts, I can pull these back to here so that the bulb will spread out, you know, to light more of the dial. The same with this one. I will have to make something to pull this back more. Now I turned this around. Normally this was going this way. You know, it's hard to do it one-handed. See, they just clip in there. This one's broken. It was that way when I got it, so I had to tape and use wire ties to hold it in. But this one normally goes this way. But the way these bulbs are made, they got like a reflector on the front. There is a guy on YouTube that files the noses of these type of bulbs, not necessarily this particular type, the pinball type, but LEDs, to give a broader spread out of the light by just taking a little file and just flattening the end out. See, there's like a lens on there, you can see it, because these bulbs light very bright straight on. This way, when it's mounted this way, you don't get all that much light out of it. So that's what I'm going to have to do. And then I can mount the light this way, because the light will be spread more once I flatten the end out with a file. That will be done later on, after I get the transformer in here and get this pilot light working with the number 57 bulb that'll draw 240 mils, in other words, or almost a quarter an amp. It might pull it down so it won't be, these will not be over voltaged, because I do not know the maximum voltage that these LED lights will take. I almost forgot here. I gotta show you how these pilot lights look now on the radio. Okay, that's the LEDs running off the ballast right now. See, all I'm showing is a little tiny area here, and a little bigger area here. And the reason it's a little bigger is because I'm pulled back more here with the LED, where I'm too far forward. And if you look in here, you can see the light here versus the small nickel size or quarter size thing here. So if I pull this back over to here, it'll spread out more. But one of the YouTube channels that I watched yesterday happened to have a video on just filing the ends of these off, and that makes this spread out wide angle. I might just do that. I've got 10 of these lights, 2 of them are in here. But you can see that they got a hot spot. So on the band spread, they're still not bright enough, but let me turn the lights off. Now, you really can't tell. And they're not running on very much voltage, 2.5 and 2.4. So I need to get more light out of these, and I will when I get the filament transformer in. And you'll probably say, well, why doesn't he leave it that way and never mind the filament transformer? Well, I spent $15 free shipping for the filament transformer. I bought the CL90 or the CL22, I think it is, which is basically a CL90. And you know, even though I had one, if I knew I had one, I wouldn't have bought one. But anyways, I got it. I'm going to use it, you know, because sooner or later this is going to get broke, and then I'm going to be up you-know-what's creek without a paddle. It's just a matter of time before my clumsiness will bang into this and snap it off. So I will remove this and put this in a safe place and keep it, mark down what it came out of, and we'll make something else. Maybe we'll use the capacitor that Brendan suggested, using a 10 microfarad capacitor and using a CL90 in series with that, which he's, from what I understand, he's all for that. He's also all for me doing the modification with the filament transformer. When I know a lot of you people out there, I have a lot of viewers that are getting a little tired of my electronic videos. And I'm sorry, but when the weather is bad, and a never-ending winter, and then rain, and you know the weather's just lousy, I can't do anything outside. Some of you people may be in nice warm climates, and you're probably wondering, it's so nice weather, why isn't he outside doing anything? Well, it's not nice weather. Tomorrow being Wednesday, it's supposed to be a good day, and I might be able to get out there, get this chassis outside and drill these holes so I don't get metal filings all over the bench here, which can get stuck in your fingers when you're leaning down on something. And then I can get started mounting this transformer and drilling a hole in the back of this chassis apron to put in an inline fuse. So these are the things I got to do when I'm not walking in the mud hole out there. So, and you know, I'm sorry that, you know, most of my stuff is either flapping videos or electronic videos. And, you know, and there isn't a lot of projects coming up. So, this is a boring video, isn't it? I know that I get a comment every once in a while. When are you going to do some projects? You know, I will when the weather, if the weather ever gets good. If it goes from winter right into 90-degree summer, no, I'm not going to be doing anything. I'll be hibernating in the house. It's one extreme to the other because, you know, the East Coast and Northeast, where I live in Connecticut here, the weather is not good. We've had a terrible, terrible March. It's terrible. We had a few nice warm days in February. really nice, and when it was, I was able to do a little bit. I have a project coming up which is electronic related, but it's also woodworking and painting, and it's going to be this here. That's my Radio City Products 308 tube tester that I've showed you on many videos, and I'm going to paint this cabinet. Now, since I got this out, I got a question for some of you guys that are working on vintage electronics out there and know a lot more than I do. Radio City Products, which is a model 308, is made in New York City. Okay. This is the cover to it. If you look at it, it's exact. It's exact. Okay? Radio City Products. But take a look at this. Take a look at that tag. Now look down at the bottom. The Hickok Electronics Instrument Corporation. Now why would this say Hickok when this case is this cover is the perfect match for the Radio City Products tube tester, which to my knowledge is not affiliated with Hickok Electronic Instrument Company. Hickok did not make, to my knowledge, Radio City Products tube testers. But anyways, you can see how this case is. See how bad this is? I want to sand this down, and I want to paint it. A semi-gloss, or a satin. I have the paint. You know, most of this stuff, just peel it right off. And I have to do this outside on the bench. And I can't be walking in mud holes, which is what is out there now. And I got to have a halfway decent day. It's got to be in the 60s anyways before I can work on anything like this. I'm going to be painting this with latex. I can paint it in here on the bench. That's not a problem. The problem is I got a lot of sanding to do and a lot of wood filling to do if necessary. This wood is well worn, as you can see. You look on this side, it's not quite as bad, but this all has to come off because we can't have this. It's all dovetailed. So I'm going to paint this. And the hinges are loose, but they're like rivets in there. I don't know if I can tighten them up or not. I'm going to just paint around it. I'm not going to be like some people, they just strip everything, take it all apart. I won't do that. Now this chassis is just laying in here right now. See? So that I can use the tube tester. And the tube tester works very well. After doing the changing some parts in here, she's reading right on with the B&K 606 on the tubes that both testers can test, so I can compare them. But you can plainly see it says the Hickok Electrical Instrument Company, Chicago, Illinois. And this is a tube setup chart for the set. I can't even read that up there. Maybe you can see it. The Steplex tube tester, I can't read that. I'm sorry, it's too faint, too hard for me to see. But anyways, this is a setup chart which almost has the same settings, but these are for real old tubes. And a lot of them I never even heard of. But why would this say Hickok when this plainly says Radio City Products? Doesn't say anything about Hickok on here. But yet it looks like a Hickok type of tester. Maybe some of you guys could answer that question for me? Because I doubt very highly a Hickok tube tester case would be compatible with a Radio City Products tube tester case. I mean, I doubt it, but I could be wrong. Fits perfectly in there. Doubt you'll be able to see very good here. It's kind of dark over here, but she fits perfectly. I'm not too worried about the top. I might not do anything with the top right away, but the bottom part of the case I wanted to do. Okay, I think I've bored you long enough. So that's the run through on the radio, and hopefully I explained things thoroughly as to why I do mostly the electronic videos. It's just the way it is. When the weather's bad, this is it. And of course, this is my hobby. I don't always do woodworking projects. I do them when I have something to do and need to build something. But after a while, it gets to a point where there is no more to build. And the only real thing I got, and I've been putting it off because I don't really enjoy the work, and it's a discouraging thing, is body work on that van. The right front fender really is in bad shape, and it really needs to be done. And I know what's going to happen. I pound out some galvanized sheet metal, cut out the rust, put that in, put Bondo glass on it, and another year or so it'll be rusting through again. It's just like a losing battle where I just say, to hell with it, why am I doing it? You know, because even the work that I did on it already is rusting through in some places, in one area on the other side, and in spots throughout the body and around the back window and stuff. I mean, there's just so much you can do, and it gets to a point where I just get very discouraged with it. So I got some navel jelly sitting down there on the floor that I used on my Sprague Telemite TO5 to clean off the rust on the inside of the cabinet and the faceplate and even on the front. And I may use some of that on the body in areas, but the weather's got to get warmer. I mean, you can't work in 40-degree weather. I mean, it's crazy, you know. And then it's either raining or it's snowing or it's windy or something, you know. You guys that have a garage and do this stuff, fine. But I don't. So anyways, that's the story there. I just want to make a point that, you know, you're getting tired of probably, I know some of you are getting tired of the electronic videos, but, well, that's the way it is. Thank you for watching. You have a good day.